Check sound 1, 2, 3. Check sound. Okay, welcome back, dear participants. I hope you are doing well. For participants from Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines, I hope you have already had lunch and are ready to follow our fourth session, and a participant from another country as well. And I will remind you to fill the attendance link that the committee will distribute at the end of the course, and make sure you are fully participate in every courses. So after this Zoom session, you will be able to get an account to the application and join the following summer course asynchronously. And for the participants who haven't joined with the WhatsApp group, the committee already sent the link for the WhatsApp group in the chat box. You can join by clicking that link. So how are you today? It's partly cloudy here in Malang, and I hope you have a lovely sunshine in your country. And before we start with the fourth session, I have some game here, just a little ice breaking before entering the fourth course. Okay, allow me to do some share screen. Okay. Okay. Can you guess how many bananas do you see in the screen? You can write the answer in the chat box. Come on, maybe I will give you like a minute. A minute is enough. Let's count together. How many bananas do I have on the screen? How many? Okay, let's count together. 1, 2, 3. Oh no. I will let you count it by yourself. Then type the answer on the chat box. 15, 15, 15, 15. Okay, a lot of people answer 15. Another 12, 16. Come on, 16, 1, 14. Oh yeah, my students are also counting right now. It's okay, the students can also answer. 14, 9. How interesting. 1, 16, 14. How many? How many? How many? Yeah, some of you already gave the right answer. 10 and 14. Okay, a few more seconds. A few more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Time's up. Oh, some of you answer only 1 banana. Okay, Sophia Cristabel Monte. Miss Sophia, why do you answer 1? Are you available to unmute your microphone? Miss Sophia Cristabel Monte? No. Miss Nur Aisyah, why do you answer 1?
Because there's only 1 banana words over there.
Why did you answer 1?
Hello?
Why only 1 banana?
Because there's only 1 banana words over there.
Oh, only 1 banana words. I'm sorry, I think I have some trouble with my headphone. I will change it after this session. Oh, because only 1 banana. Okay. Okay, let's see how. Oh, Dr. Sharina Osman. Why you only answer 12, Mrs. Sharina? Okay, let's count together. How many bananas do we have? Come on. Okay, let's count together. Okay. 1. This one. Wait. I will stop share. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is 1. No, so starting from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, oh, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Do not forget to count this one. It's also banana. So we have 16, right? We have 16 bananas, and some of you have already answered 16. Okay, congratulations, Sherka Fofa Ogulderson. You answered 16. Yay! And also one Nur Ifa. You also answered 16. Kate Blancy is also 16. Yes, do not forget this one. So we need to count all of the bananas here and also this banana word. Okay, just like a little ice breaking from me. Hopefully now our mind is ready to keep up with the fourth course. So in the last course for today, we will learn about the role of yachts in sustainable tourism development. Natural protected area are critical social, cultural, and economic resources for biodiversity conservation and local population development. And as a result, the younger generation is expected to play a crucial role in promoting sustainability lifestyle in the future. And they represent one of the fastest growing segments of the tourism industry, while also emerging as the segment of the population least attracted to ecotourism at the moment. And I think our course leader is here already. Dr. Avinash Rohit Prasad will lead this course. Good afternoon, Dr. Rohit.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good
Yes,
afternoon.
Dr. Rohit. Yes, welcome. Thank you for joining in this event.
It's already 6:10 p.m. here, so evening already.
Oh yeah.
Here. Yeah.
It's
okay.
Can you
see me?
Yes. Okay. I can see you and hear you clearly. And Dr. Rohit, you took your master's degree and your PhD degree in Universitas Negeri Malang, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I did my master's and PhD at the State University of Malang, Indonesia.
Hopefully,
Negeri Malang.
Oh yes, hopefully in the next future you will be able to come back here and just like have visit Universitas Negeri Malang once again, right?
Yeah, sure.
And
I'm waiting to come once the borders open. I'm just waiting for the borders to open.
Okay, and Dr. Rohit is currently a lecturer in Fiji, and he teaches foundation social science and introduction to physical geography, introduction to human geography, biogeography, global issues, and third world geography, and introduction to remote sensing and GIS. Okay, Mr. Rohit, I will hand this session to you, and please, the time and screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I begin with my presentation, I hope you can see and hear me clearly. Can you all hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
If you are unable to hear my voice, then please do let me know. And if I speak too fast, you can also let me know, because we have almost, I think, almost 2 hours to cover this course on short course, summer course. So before I begin, I would like to thank the State University of Malang and the Kuala Lumpur University for inviting me to be part of this summer course, short summer course. And I am also very thankful to the faculty, the staff members, the lecturers of geography at the Geography Department of the State University of Malang in Indonesia. Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this summer program, short summer course. So as mentioned by the MC, I will be talking about the role of youth in sustainable tourism development. So my presentation, the first part, mostly will cover the aspects of sustainable tourism, which is also known as ecotourism. Which is also known as ecotourism, sustainable tourism or ecotourism. So the first part of my presentation will talk about sustainable tourism or ecotourism in Fiji, because Fiji is mostly dependent on tourism, and we are currently going through a lot of crises due to this pandemic and disasters that we are facing with. So the first part, as I said, will be talking about the examples and the sustainable tourism practices that we have in Fiji. And the second part, which will be the role of the youths in sustainable tourism development, will be in general. After that, there are a few questions that I have, which we may discuss at the end of the presentation. How have you been doing it for the last two days? The questions are the students who are joining this program, are they given time at the end of the presentation to answer the questions, and then later the questions are discussed, or how is it done? At the end of the presentation, there are 4 or 5 questions that I have. So I think I will give you the students who are joining this course to go over those questions, answer them, and then we can have interactive discussions. So to start off with the introduction, as you may be knowing, that ecotourism involves traveling to places which are unharmed, untouched, and free from pollution. So tourists go to these kind of places with the aim of studying, experiencing, and admiring the nature, the natural beauty, the scenery that exists in those kind of places which are free from pollution, which are unharmed, which are unexploited. So these people here, these tourists, the visitors, go and study and admire the plants and animals, flora and fauna, and the culture that prevails in these kinds of places. And there have been many studies that have been done on how youths can contribute to sustainable tourism development or tourism activities in the rural areas. Here in Fiji, we normally have these eco-tourist or sustainable tourist developments mostly take place in rural areas here in Fiji, in the interiors, in places which are far from towns and cities. I hope, and maybe it is the same for Indonesia and Malaysia and Philippines. So there have been several studies that have been done in this area, but the results are not very convincing. The results of studies that have been done on how youths can contribute to sustainable tourism development or ecotourism development has not been very positive, has not been very convincing, and for that reason, there is a need to carry out more research in this area on how youths can contribute to sustainable tourism development. And why is there a need to carry out more research, more work, more studies in this area? Is that because the younger generation or the youthful population, or the millennials as they are sometimes called, they are expected to play a very crucial, significant role in promoting sustainable tourism in future. And they are the ones who are normally mostly on the move. That means these millennials or this youthful population, they are young, they are energetic, so they keep on moving from one country to another to enjoy the natural beauty of a particular country, of a particular place. So there is a need to focus more on them. And I do not know whether this is true for most of the youth or not, but I have come across many people who seem to be much more young people who seem to be much more attracted to these man-made features in comparison to natural sites of attraction. So to change their mindset, or to promote, to change their mindset or their thinking, and to promote them, to encourage them to visit eco-tourist sites, eco-tourism areas. We need to focus more on this area of youths towards the development of ecotourism or sustainable tourism development. So that is why there is a need for more focus, more research in this area. And moving on to what sustainable tourism looks like. Sustainable tourism is a major contributor to economic development, and because it helps in the development, in the preservation, in the conservation of the natural environment, and it also sustainable tourism also contributes or helps towards the achievement of Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, goals number 8, 12, and 14, which deals with inclusive, inclusive and sustainable economic development, sustainable consumption and production, and sustainable use, wise use of resources and ocean resources and marine resources. Since Fiji as well as Indonesia and Fiji are quite similar, despite the differences in the size. We are both archipelagic countries which are surrounded by the sea. So sustainable development for us will also mean that we protect our oceans and seas for the future generation. So this sustainable tourism or ecotourism overlaps. It contributes to the achievement of the 17 other sustainable development goals. There are 17 sustainable development goals, SDGs. So sustainable tourism development contributes, overlaps, or helps in the achievement of all the 17 sustainable development goals. And to achieve sustainable tourism development here in the South Pacific region, there is an organization known as the Pacific Sustainable Tourism Policy Framework of 2030, and they are trying to aspire, they are trying to move towards, they are trying to work with the other stakeholders, the other relevant authorities, civil service organizations, NGOs, regional and global partners, and they are trying to achieve the aim, the vision that by 2030, the Pacific Island countries should be empowered. They should have the power. Their people should benefit from tourism that is resilient. Tourism that is resilient, meaning that tourism that is not easily vulnerable or not easily affected by disasters, by pandemics, or by political instability. Here in the Pacific region, when we look at Fiji, tourism here is mostly dependent and affected by events such as natural disasters, cyclones, floods, and even climate change, and changes in the government or political issues, political instability. So these things should be controlled so that the tourism sector is not affected when these things happen. So that is the vision of this organization. The tourism sector should be prosperous, successful, and inclusive, and it should also help to improve the livelihoods of the people, of the local people. So because a lot of locals are employed in the tourist sector, and it should also help to protect and promote the local culture and conserve the oceans and the other ecosystems that are involved, that are the focus of the tourist sector. So this is the aim, this is the vision of this SPTO. They hope to achieve this by 2030. That is 9 years from now. So to be able to achieve this vision by 2030, there should be collective or partnerships between the different stakeholders. To be able to achieve this mission of sustainable tourism development by 2030, this organization SPTO has come up with 4 key goals or 4 key areas they want to focus on. So the first goal is to promote economic prosperity, to make sure that everybody gets the equal share of profits or benefits from the tourist industry, and the economies, local communities, and the national economy in terms of GDP should be resilient. It should not be easily vulnerable or affected by changes in the weather pattern that affects the tourism industry, changes in the government, or through the different diseases, pandemics or epidemics that may arise, just like what we are facing, going through right now. And goal number 2 is to thriving and inclusive communities. Communities, local communities mostly, should thrive, should grow, should develop, and tourist development should focus on and empower the locals. It should help improve the livelihoods, the standards of living of the local people. Goal number 3 is visible and valued cultures. Sustainable tourism development to achieve the vision of the SPTO by 2030. This SPTO also aims to achieve the goal that tourism should promote our local culture, and it should also protect, conserve the heritage sites. Goal number 4, it should also sustainable tourism development needs to protect, maintain the health of the oceans and the seas, the different marine ecosystems, the ecosystems that exist on land and in the sea, and also to minimize the impacts of climate change that we are facing right now. So that is what sustainable tourism mostly aims to achieve here in the South Pacific region. Those who are listening, am I too fast or am I too slow?
No,
No,
Mr.
sorry.
Robert.
Okay. So the important question here is, why should we practice, why should we promote sustainable tourism? That is the question. Should we promote sustainable tourism? I am quite sure that most of you will answer yes for this question. Why should we promote sustainable tourism, or should we promote ecotourism? Is there anybody here who says no, we should not promote sustainable or ecotourism? You may be right. This is not mathematics where you have only one definite answer. Your explanation, your answer may be right or wrong depending on how you explain it. So is there anybody here who thinks that we should not promote sustainable tourism or ecotourism? Anybody? So all those who are part of this cause agree or believe that we should promote sustainable tourism or ecotourism. Is that correct? Yes?
Yes, correct.
Okay, good. So we'll move on. Why should we practice or promote sustainable tourism or ecotourism? There are many reasons. The main one is because of climate change. Now here, when we look at Fiji, if you look at the world map, if you look at the location of Fiji, you will notice that Fiji is located in the largest ocean, which is the Pacific Ocean. So we are a small island country, which is 18,276 square kilometers in size, made up of 350 to 800 islands. Out of that, 100 islands are inhabited, and the other 750 700 or so islands are uninhabited. So there are 4 main large islands, which are Vitilevu, Vanuatu, Taveuni, and Kandavu. If you look at the world map, you will know what I'm talking about. So here we are small in nature, located or surrounded by the sea, by the ocean, and climate change is real. It is happening. It has been happening for quite some time. We have sea level rise here in Fiji, sea level rise reaching up to 6 millimeters per year, which is higher than the global average. So sea level rise in Fiji is 6 millimeters per year, which is higher than the global average. This is a matter of concern for us because we are a small island country surrounded by the sea. So we need to practice sustainable development or sustainable tourism or ecotourism to be able to help solve the problems that may arise due to climate change. And the second reason, the climate change is, I'm not saying that only Fiji is vulnerable to climate change. Climate change is affecting all of us. Even Indonesia, being such a large country, is also at the risk, is a very vulnerable, is quite vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, because approximately 40 or 41 million people of the population in Indonesia is living on the coastal areas. So due to the impacts of climate change, when the sea level rises, salt water comes in or starts coming onto land, then these people who are dependent on the coast, who are living on the coastal areas, will be badly affected, just like what is happening here in Fiji. There are many communities here in Fiji that depend on the sea for their livelihoods. So these people have been experiencing the impacts of sea level rise caused by climate change. So many of these communities have been moved to higher grounds by the government, and the government is also trying to protect them by building sea walls and by also relocating them to safer areas, safer places. So due to climate change, due to the increasing impacts or threat that we experience due to climate change, we need to carry out sustainable tourism development. The tourism sector is the #1 contributor to foreign exchange earnings here in Fiji. In the past, in the last century, or maybe in the 1900s, the sugar industry used to be the #1 contributor of foreign exchange earnings for Fiji, but due to some problems in the sugar industry, this tourism sector, the tourism industry, has overtaken the sugar industry as the #1 foreign exchange earner for Fiji. So that is why we need to carry out sustainable tourism to be able to protect the livelihoods, to be able to sustain the livelihoods of the people who are dependent on the tourism industry for their survival. Now, due to the impacts of climate change, seasons are also very unpredictable. Now we have prolonged drought season or prolonged cool seasons, or we have rainfall when we are not supposed to have rainfall, and we have extreme weather conditions, extreme heat during seasons during the cool season. And right as I'm speaking to you right now, it's already 6:30 p.m. here, and it's still so hot outside. Even if you use the fan at the maximum speed, you are unable to find comfort. You still feel uncomfortable because the seasons, the climatic conditions, the weather patterns have changed, which can be attributed to climate change. So there are two very important components, concepts of sustainable travel, and they are ecotourism and ethical tourism. Ecotourism and ethical tourism, and the International Ecotourism Society, TIES. According to TIES, ecotourism sustainable tourism involves a responsible travel to natural areas with the aim of conserving the environment and with the aim of helping improve the livelihoods of the local people. And according to TIES, sustainable tourism or ecotourism sites, those who visit these eco-tourist or ecotourism or sustainable tourism sites should follow these 5 or 6 criteria. So they should go there with these 6 aims. They should help to minimize the impact, environmental impact. That means they should not damage the environment. They should try to minimize the damage to the environment without totally damaging or destroying or over exploiting the natural environment. And they should also help to build and create awareness of the local cultures and respect the local cultures. So the tourists who visit these eco-tourist or sustainable tourism sites should bear in mind that they should not harm the sentiments of the locals. They should they should respect the local culture, in short. And this ecotourism, sustainable tourism helps to provide positive experiences for the visitors, for the tourists, as well as the local community. Okay. The benefits from these ecotourism sites should mostly be for the local people, and it should help them in the conservation of the livelihoods, the culture, and of the local people. And it should also raise sensitivity to host countries' political, environmental, and social climates. It should bear in mind the tourists should bear in mind that they do not get involved in politics when they are visiting these kind of areas. They have to be ought to be neutral. And sustainable tourism should need to support international human rights and labor agreements. Now I will just briefly discuss about sustainable tourism in Fiji. What sustainable tourism in Fiji looks like. Before I touch this issue, before I touch on sustainable tourism examples, or what sustainable tourism in Fiji looks like, I'm sure I just want to know whether you know where Fiji is. Because when I was in Indonesia, I came across many people who did not know where Fiji was. So those who are part of this short program, are you aware of Fiji's location? Yes? If you are not aware, if you are unaware, then I can briefly tell you where it's exactly located. Fiji, this is Fiji, not Fuji in Japan. Please remember that. Fiji and Fuji are not same. Because many people had this perception when I was there. When I said Fiji, they thought it's in Japan. Fuji is in Japan. Fiji is a small country located in the South Pacific, very close to Australia and New Zealand. So sustainable tourism in Fiji, as I said earlier on, Fiji is an island nation country surrounded by the sea. So we have many marine protected areas. In fact, there are more than 170 marine protected areas that are home to many different species of coral reefs and fish. And due to this reason, Fiji is one of the greatest snorkeling spots of the world. Here, the villages work together to help conserve the fishing sites, diving, and other activities. to see that those who get involved in these kind of activities, the tourists, do not cause a lot of damage to the marine ecosystem, to the coral ecosystem, through snorkeling or diving and other water-based activities. So when the villages are trying to protect the marine ecosystem, they are at the same time protecting their livelihoods, because as I said earlier on, a lot of these people in Fiji, the villages are mostly dependent on the sea for their livelihoods, for their survival. So by protecting the sea, protecting the coral reefs, by protecting the marine ecosystem, they are also protecting their livelihoods, sustaining their livelihoods. And the second common sustainable tourist site in Fiji is the eco resorts. Eco resorts, eco means if you look at the word eco, you should know that these are resorts which are environment friendly. So these eco resorts are environment friendly, and we have many of these kind of resorts here in Fiji. Here on this kind of resorts, in this kind of resorts, food is crops, vegetables are normally grown locally without depending on the foreign countries where we normally buy goods and services from. So these kind of resorts also offer eco-friendly activities, and they have qualified people who are situated at the resort who are able to help in the planning and development of these kind of resorts. And sustainable tourism in Fiji also makes sure that we keep businesses local. We are trying to, sustainable tourism in Fiji tries to promote locally made or locally produced items. There are many foreign companies here in Fiji, but they are not fully they are at even though they are foreign companies, their main aim is also to help conserve and develop the community. They are also helping the community to grow, besides making profits for their families, for their country. Yeah? So most of these guides, tour guides, and educators, trainers who are working for these tourist resorts, hotels and resorts are Fijian locals, and they are provided with jobs because it helps them to sustain their families, to send their children to school, to support their families, to help many other sectors, because tourism industry has a multiplier effect. That means every single cent or every single dollar that is spent by the tourists is used by many other sectors of the country or the economy. I hope you know what the multiplier effect is. So now I will be going over some of the examples of sustainable tourism sites that we have in Fiji. Those of you who have visited Fiji, is there anybody here who has ever visited Fiji? Yes? No? No? So if you have not visited Fiji, this is the Fijian government is going to open its borders from the 1st of December, and they have come up with many incentives, many packages for tourists, to promote, to rejuvenate, to revive the tourism industry. As I said earlier on, tourism industry is the #1 foreign exchange earner for our country. So the government is trying to revive the tourism industry by coming up with many different many attractive packages and incentives for the tourists who wish to visit Fiji starting from the 1st of December 2021. And if you have been reading the news, you will come to know that as of now, there are around 26,000 tourists who have already booked their flights and hotels in Fiji, and most of them, 90%, are from Australia. So if you want to, you are most welcome to visit Fiji, and you will be able to see and experience the local Fijian culture, the smile, the friendly smiles, the beautiful white sandy beaches, and many other attractions that you might not have ever experienced in your life. So some of the examples of sustainable tourism sites here in Fiji are: number one, the Outrigger community project. This Outrigger hotel is a very famous hotel which is located in the Singatoka Coral Coast area, which is located on the main island Vitilevu. So here, this community project, it tries to involve the local community, and the guests, the tourists, are encouraged to help fund in the different development projects in the local community. And as of now, they have helped in the construction of a bure. A bure is a traditional Fijian hut, just like we have the gazebo in Indonesia, where you can have the traditional meetings or gatherings. So they also help to construct or rebuild schools that were damaged by cyclones and other disasters. They have also helped to rebuild or construct a new maternity ward at one of the hospitals here in Fiji, and they have also helped to sustainable tourism. The Outrigger community project has also helped in the upgrade of the women's ward at the hospital. They have also helped in the development, the improvements of the operating theater at one of the hospitals in the Coral Coast area. That is the first example of sustainable tourism development in Fiji. Second one is Jean Costu Mangrove Tour. This is also a very famous hotel, which is located on the second largest island of Fiji, Vanuatu, and this is an eco-friendly resort. The operations and management of this resort is based on the protection of the natural environment. So the activities that are provided for tourists in this resort takes into consideration the natural environment. That means its aim is to make use of the environment without totally damaging it. Then it also helps to also tries to involve the local community so that they are financially, so they are able to reap the benefits of the tourist activities that happen here at this resort. And one of the very famous and well-known experiences of this resort is the eco tour, which takes the tourists through the mangrove forest, through the shoreline, and this tour is accompanied by a very qualified local marine biologist who will guide you, who will tell you, who will discuss with you about the coastal environment, about the marine ecosystem, about the plants and animals that you will find that are unique to Fiji. Moving on. Another example is the Six Senses Resort. Six senses, you have to use your six senses, all the senses that you possess. So here, this Six Senses Resort has helped in the installation of one of the largest solar energy that you will find in the southern hemisphere. So this Six Senses resort has helped the local community by providing them with renewable energy through the installation of one of the largest solar installation facilities which you will find in the southern hemisphere, which this Six Senses resort has done here in Fiji. And this resort also collects rainwater, and it uses herbs, vegetable gardens, fruit and vegetable gardens, and it helps. It promotes the growth of local fruit and vegetables, and helps to provide clean drinking water through natural processes, and it encourages or discourages the use of plastic bottles. The other one is the Shangri-La resort in Fiji. Shangri-La is also a very famous one, which you will find all over the world. So here, this resort is located on the Coral Coast. Coral Coast, you should know what this area must be looking like. Once you hear Coral Coast area is shoreline, with the shoreline area on the beach. So here, this resort has tried to protect the reef. They have undertaken this reef care project, and their aim is to protect, revive, and conserve the beautiful coral reef of the Fijian islands. So if you visit, they also have a marine education center which you can visit as a guest or as students who are attending school here in Fiji, and they will involve those guests and students in conservation, in the planting of mangrove seedlings, which will later protect the shoreline areas from tsunami or tidal waves, or even sea level rise caused by climate change. So now let us look at Fiji's top 5 nature and sustainability projects. So we have many sustainable projects, and the first one that that we'll be looking at is pearl farming. Pearl farming is done mostly on the second largest island of Fiji, which is Vanuatu, and here this pearl farming is mostly done by families that use traditional practices or traditional tools or traditional methods of creating jewelry from pearls without the use of modern tools and technology, which will harm the marine ecosystem, the sea. Second one is Talanoa treks. Talanoa is a native Fijian word which means dialogue or talk. So here there is partnership between the villagers and the visitors, and then these treks here provide the best hiking experiences and village tourism, whereby tourists visit villages and experience the lifestyle of the locals. The locals take the tourists through hills, small islands or interior islands, and through the mangrove forests, mangrove swamps as part of their trekking adventure. Third one is the Mamanuda Environment Society. Fiji has many island groups. If you look at the map, so one of the island groups, small island groups, is known as the Mamanuda Island Group. So on this island, there are many resorts, hotels, and they have come up with this environment society, which is a very active and conservation organization, which is founded by the locals, which helps, with the aim of protecting or conserving the island environment. So those who visit this Mamanuda Island Group, the hotels and resorts which are located in the Mamanuda Island Group, they are encouraged to get involved in the protection of the island environment. And this group checks and surveys the island ecosystem together with the turtle conservation programs, and they accept volunteers who wish to help in the conservation of the island, and also the turtle conservation programs that are run by this Mamanuda Environment Society. Next, the fourth one is Vinaka Fiji in the Yasawas. Vinaka is also a Fijian word which means thank you. So Vinaka Fiji is located in the Yasawa Island group, and it is the country's main volunteering organizations whereby people can volunteer and help in the conservation of the island ecosystem. Here, 27 villages that are mostly underdeveloped are part of this group, and there are a wide variety of community development programs to get involved into, where you can work with the villages in projects that help to solve the problems of water on the islands, and also to the establishment of small cooperative shops on the islands. So islands, if you know what islands look like, islands are mostly they lack water, clean drinking water. So this group here in the island group is trying to provide clean drinking water to the villagers who live on that island. And those who are teachers or have some teaching experiences, you can also volunteer to teach in the local schools, or you can work together with the village council, and you can either go and teach in the local school directly, or it will be much more appreciable if you are able to train. Moving on to the last one, which is mangrove restoration. On most of the islands in the Fiji Island group, the local environmental organizations and resorts, they have tried to work together to help preserve or conserve the mangrove ecosystem. On Fiji's main island, which is Viti Levu, on the southern coast of Viti Levu, the Nanuku Island Resort has its own nursery whereby they grow nature mangrove seedlings, which are later transplanted onto the beach on the coastal areas with the help of a local resident marine biologist to protect the tidal waves, tsunamis, or sea level rise to affect the coastal areas in Fiji. So these are some of the examples. Now we will be moving on to youth tourism. Youth in tourism, their contribution, and how can they promote or help in sustainable tourism development. So youth, as you may be knowing, are those people who are mostly independent and between the ages between 16 to 29 years, and the youth tourism involves the movement of these people to places, to visit places for a year or less. And why do they visit other places? They visit places to experience the other cultures, to get new experiences in life, and also to benefit from what they may see and learn while they are visiting a particular environment, a particular country, a particular place. So according to the United Nations World Tourism Organization and the World Youth Student and Educational Travel Confederation, Generation Z, or the millennials, they account for approximately 30% of the global population and account for 29 million international travelers. So these youths form 29 million, of those who travel to other countries, places for new experiences as tourists. So according to Richards, the young people spend around $2,600 per per trip when they visit other countries, other places. They on average spend around $2,600, which is 3 times more than the money spent by a normal average tourist who is not a millennial, who is not classified as a youth. And due to that reason, because of this reason, there is a need to empower the youth, because they are going to help in carrying out sustainable tourism development, and in turn achieving a sustainable development goals. What role do the youths play in sustainable development, tourism development? Do you think the youths are important in sustainable tourism development? Do they have a part to play in sustainable tourism development, or they do not? Do you, as a youth, have a part to play, have a role in promoting sustainable tourism development? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Yes. Of course.
Yes. In fact, we all have a part to play, but our focus is mostly on the youths, because youths are very energetic, and they are very responsive, and quick to ideas, new ideas, accept ideas and make changes. So the youth have a moral authority in terms when it comes to sustainable tourism development. They are more open-minded as they are educated mostly, so they are more receptive to different cultures, different religious beliefs. So because they are able to understand the differences in culture, differences in skin color, and differences in dressing, and everything, culture. Yeah. So because they are educated mostly, they are open-minded, so they tend to be much more friendly with the tourists, and they tend to form friendly relationships or friendship with tourists, which is in a way going to help in the development of the tourist industry. And yeah, youths are very mobile, they are very energetic, enthusiastic, so they are ready, they are mostly ready and very keen to accompany tourists to the different tourist sites that the tourists would want to visit. So yeah, youths are very responsive to changes, quick to very open-minded, and they also help in the development of the tourism sector with the help of the plan of the government to provide the best experiences, friendly experiences for the tourist, who in turn would help in the growth of the tourism industry through advertising, word of mouth advertising. The next one is the social control. So youths can constantly help in monitoring, in overseeing and supervising the developments that are taking place in at the different tourist sites in the village. Youths can be nicknamed, classified as a media outlet, because they disseminate information. They are very good at disseminating information through the use of social media, through the use of by word of mouth advertising, or with the help of friends, and the different types of social media to disseminate information about tourism development to everybody around them. And youths are very active, and they can help in the cleanup different campaigns aimed at preserving a natural environment, which in turn would attract more visitors. youths can help and encourage the general public and the tourists to keep areas clean through the use of proper waste disposable methods and to encourage them to avoid littering. Youth can also help the government, the village councils, the local governments in communicating the needs of the tourists, so that the village council or the village government can work on it and provide whatever is needed by the tourists. And youth can work to develop cultural tourism in a way that is consistent with is consistent with the needs of the tourists, with the expectations of the tourists. So they can help in the development of routes, different routes of travel, accessibility to tourist attractions, the roads that can be used to access the different eco-tourist sites, and they can also provide security to the tourists while they visit the different destinations in the host country. So this is how the local youth can help in sustainable tourism development. The last one that I have here is agents of change. The youths of today are the future leaders of tomorrow. They are agents of change. They can help to create awareness about sustainable sustainable practices which can conserve the environment, the flora and fauna, which can improve the different tourist sites. And youth can also use the agricultural produce, the locally produced goods, food and services, and create something very attractive, or products which are very attractive and which are very much liked by the tourists. They can create artifacts, souvenirs from timber, from wood. They can also use the agricultural produce to make local delicacies which the tourists would enjoy, as they would not get the same in their own country. The youth can also encourage people to conserve the environment and the nature, the tourist attractions, which can be used for which can be used and enjoyed by the tourists as well as the locals in the future. So youths are much more you can say that educated, maybe, because they have access to the different sources of information now. They have access to mass media. They have access to newspapers online. They have access to news online, YouTube and all that. So they are able to learn things from there and pass on the information and encourage the people at the same time to conserve the natural environment. As I said earlier on, youth are very enthusiastic, very energetic, and they are full of energy because they are still young. So they can help in the development of different projects, community projects, and help in the conservation of the environment. So these are some of the things that I had to discuss with you. Now, I think I have been talking for more than 1 hour. Yeah, I have been talking for almost more than an hour, and I have a sore throat now. So this is the end of my presentation. Now, if you can look at the screen, you will see that there are at least 4 questions that I have put up there on the last slide. And these are the questions that I that I want you to answer. How did you go about these questions in the previous presentation? Were you given some time for answering these questions, and then later it was discussed, or was it done just directly after the presentation? There are at least there are only 4 questions here, and very simple ones. So do you need some time to answer these questions before we go over them, before we go over the answers, or should we just go over the questions and the answers straight away? Yes, please.
Yeah, maybe we can do the discussion straight away, Mr. Rohit. Maybe,
Okay.
yeah, from the participants.
Yeah.
Would you like to answer or have a discussion
How did you do?
after Mr. Rohit's presentation?
How did you go about it in the previous sessions?
Yes, you can raise your hand and unmute your microphone.
Yeah. The first question that I have here is that you need to identify the eco-tourist sites in your country. I guess there are students who are joining from Indonesia, Malaysia, and even Philippines.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And there is one student from Fiji also. She's one of my students here. I hope I saw her joining in, but I'm not sure whether she's still here or not. So we have students from Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines. Any other country?
Also from Europe, some
Okay.
students from Europe also join with this summer course.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, maybe you can identify the different eco-tourist sites in your locality or in your country. For Indonesia, I already know a few of them because I was there for quite a long time. But you can still come up with your answers.
Okay, I'm inviting the participants to have a discussion with Mr. Rohit regarding our session for today, since we are talking about youth and ecotourism. You can raise your hand and I will call your name. Then please unmute your microphone. Or maybe you can share something from the chat box.
Yeah.
Maybe the participants still need some time to think.
Okay. How much time do they need?
Okay. It's okay. You can raise your hand.
There's a
From
message.
Sasna.
New
Yeah.
message on
From
on
Sasna.
chat.
Sasna Begum, Miss
Yeah.
Sasna, I
Sasna
believe.
Begum, she's from Fiji. She's one of my students.
Okay, Miss Sasna Begum, can you unmute your microphone? It's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Miss.
I've stated about the Mummy-based Battery Historical Park. This contains several gun emplacements, and these were used during the World War II to defend against possible attacks.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So she has mentioned about the historical Momi gun site, which is located in Nandi. Nandi is Nandi is where the main international airport of Fiji is located. So there is a gun site, historical gun site, which is located a few kilometers away from Nandi town, the international airport of Fiji, which has the remains of the arms and weaponry which was used during the World War II. You can find it there. That is one of the eco-tourist or sites that we have here in Fiji. That is one of the many. We have many more. There are few that I have already talked about in my presentation, but apart from that, there are plenty more. How about Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia.
Okay, while waiting, Mr. Rohit, you previously mentioned about Generation Z and ecotourism, okay? And I recognize in Indonesia, Gen Z is also very advanced in using technology and also social media like
Yes.
Instagram and TikTok. The youngsters in Indonesia are mad with TikTok right now.
It is the
And
same case, yeah.
yes, same with Fiji, maybe. And through TikTok or Instagram, I see that they can promote some of the tourist spot and tourist activities
Yeah.
in our country, which is good. And we have like some trend in Indonesia. The youngsters took a very good photo when they visit some beach, mountain, and another tourism attractions, and they will post it in their Instagram. So their Instagram feed looks so beautiful, and it's like what is it? It's like some achievement, and they can show to other people like, hey, look, I've been on this place, and yeah, it's like some achievement from the Generation Z right now. But
Yes.
Mr. Rohit mentioned youth is around 16 to 21 years old. I'm above 29, means I'm not a youth anymore.
No,
But my students are, right? My students and your students are, I believe. Okay, it's very interesting. The relationship between Generation Z, and also how they can promote tourist activities in their hometown.
yeah, I agree with you that I have also experienced. This is through my personal experiences in Indonesia. The students, mostly the Generation Z, are very active on social media. In fact, I was introduced to WhatsApp. BlackBerry Messenger was very famous at the time in Indonesia. BlackBerry Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, Viber, and all these things is what I learned from my stay in Indonesia. Because here in Fiji, there are not many people who use Instagram or even WhatsApp or even BlackBerry Messenger. I'm not sure whether BlackBerry Messenger is still in use now, but it used to be. It was very famous. It was very common. Most of the teenagers would be busy using BlackBerry Messenger, BBM. So, yeah, youth are in most of the countries now are very much active on social media. If you go to these countries, neighboring countries, I have also experienced this in Singapore and Malaysia. When you travel in the MRT, you will see that people are busy looking into their phones. They are very active on social media. And this new, what do you call, I don't know how do you call it, because I don't use it. And I'm not a fan of this TikTok and all that. Can be used in a positive way also. Even Facebook can also be used in a very positive way if you want to. It can be used as an educational tool for educating people on the different things, such as the promotion of tourist sites or eco-tourist sites and many other positive ways. If you have the intention of doing it.
Yes, Mr. Rohit. And the fourth question is also very interesting about engaging youth in sustainable tourism development. In Indonesia, most of the youngsters prefer to go to Jakarta after finishing their study. They do not want to go back to their hometown, even though their hometown is full with a lot of natural tourist attractions. Is this also happen in Fiji? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's also very common. I think it's common all over the world. I think the story is the same mostly all over the world, because once they leave their village, once they leave their village and get educated, they do not wish to go back to their villages. They prefer to stay in the towns and cities which is full of pollution and which lacks this natural scenery, natural beauty, fresh air and all that. So that is also common here.
Okay, now to the participants, is that kind of thing also common in your country or in your hometown? Okay, Fazrin Pearl. Okay. Lately, river tourism is quite famous in Sabah, Malaysia. So this place called Pelumpung Melangkap. Okay, Fazrin Pearl, are you available to unmute your microphone to Mr. or Miss Fazrin? Hello? No? Okay. Okay, so
Malu.
yeah, don't be shy. It's okay.
Don't be
But
shy
just-
if you cannot, if you wish you can speak in Bahasa Indonesia. I still
Oh yes,
understand a bit of
Mr.
Bahasa.
Rohit also understand bahasa. Yeah, you spend how long you spend in Malang?
Oh, almost
Pak
6.5
Rohit.
years.
Oh my God, lama sekali ya.
Yeah, lama.
Okay, to yes, hello. I heard someone's talking. No. Okay, Mr. Fazrin Pearl, lately river tourism is quite famous in Sabah, Malaysia. So this place called Pelumpung Melangkap view site is getting its recognition from locals due its river is overlooking Mount Kinabalu. I discovered that the place were popularized mostly by youth. And as we know, the power of social media and snippets of the location makes so much, I'm sorry, what is it?
So much development to the
Yes,
area.
development to the area. They only provide camping site before, and now there are many photo booths and facility around the area. So I guess the roles of youth are very important. Yeah, maybe the youth understand what is on trend at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Any comment or feedback from Mr. Rohit?
Yeah, that is a very good change that has taken place in that area with the help of the youth. Before, as he mentioned, that area was not very famous or not used to its maximum capacity. But now, since the youth got involved, that area has evolved, has changed, and is being utilized to its maximum. Maximal use of that area is happening now due to the involvement of the youth. But the only thing, matter of concern here is that though that area should not be over exploited. There should be sustainable. It should be sustainably used. Otherwise, that area will lose its appeal and it will be over exploited.
Okay, and we have Mas Anci, Mas Ahmad. Mas Ahmad, hello. From UniKL, Hello, Mas Ahmad. Yes. Can you have a little discussion with us or adding some information about ecotourism in KL or in Malaysia?
There's ecotourism, which in Lenggong, Perak. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, okay. So what I want to share is the tourism activities that being organized and happen in Lenggong, Perak. Lenggong, Perak, there's a huge lake called Tasik Raban, and what I can see here, previous tourists that visit Tasik Raban, they will mention that Tasik Raban have the characteristic of the environment familiar, such as in Indonesia, which is Danau Toba Lake. So regarding the youth contribution to the sustainable tourism development, yes, most of the youth there after finishing their school, they are involved with the freshwater fishing activity. So we also have international tourists, for example, from Japan, that visit Raban Lake in Lenggong for fishing activities. So from my viewpoint of view, I think the local authority, the government, or any agency should take this opportunity to provide continuous education or continuous workshop to develop their youth community at the eco-tourist destination to have a proper knowledge regarding ecotourism. So it's
Yes.
going to be a very valuable skill for them in the future.
Good. Yeah, I also agree with you that first, before the youths get involved in sustainable tourism practices, they should be made aware. They should know what sustainable tourism development looks like, so that they are able to practice and they are able to help contribute towards sustainable tourism development. That's very true. I agree.
And we have Satria
Satria,
from
yeah.
North Jakarta. Satria, are you able to speak with us? Hello,
Yes,
Satria.
But hello. Hello,
Yes.
Miss. Saya Satria, but my English is so bad.
It's
Oh,
okay.
don't worry.
Bisa bicara bahasa Indonesia saja kok.
Oh, boleh.
Tidak apa-apa.
Boleh. Silahkan. Satria dari mana?
Saya dari Universitas Negeri Jakarta.
Oke. Silahkan.
Ya, Prof, tadi di sekitar rumah saya itu kan ada terkenal Rumah Si Pitung ya. Nah, Rumah Si Pitung ini sebenarnya tokoh zaman Belanda, tapi ternyata punya banyak sekali penafsiran. Kayak misalnya Si Pitung ini hanya sekadar begundal atau misalnya maling di era kolonial gitu. Jadi lokal tempat wisata itu kurang ramai dan koleksi di dalam museum kayak rumahnya itu kurang ramai. Tapi di situ saya lihat ada termasuk ke ekoturis juga, soalnya ada tentang mangrove, ada penanaman pohon-pohon, ada pelestarian wilayah sekitar situ, karena ya itu salah satu wilayah yang bakal ambles atau terkena abrasi gitu. Nah, saya lihat di situ kurang aktif gitu warganya, tapi banyak diadvokasi oleh pemerintah di situ. Tuh. Ya itu aja Kak, terima kasih.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Satria. Is that your hometown, Satria?
Yes.
Tanjung Priuk, I remember that name.
Dekat
Yes,
dengan
Tanjung Priuk.
hometownnya Satria. Yeah, just so Mr. Rohit, Satria said that the government didn't try to mengajak bersama-sama anak muda untuk melestarikan tempat wisata itu. Anak muda tidak dilibatkan seperti itu, Mr. Rohit.
The government is not supporting the youths to help in sustainable tourism practices, to help promote sustainable tourism. That is what he was trying to say. Yes, okay, but I think the government also needs to play an active role. But even without government support, I think still we can try our best to help in development or carrying out sustainable tourism. You know, Indonesia is such a beautiful country. I was looking at there was a report I shared on Facebook about the world's top 20 most beautiful countries, and Indonesia was the only Asian country which was in that list. So that is a very proud moment. Indonesia was the 6th most ranked beautiful country in the world, the only Asian country. Indonesia was there on number 6 out of the 20 most beautiful countries of the world. So there are so many this is from my personal experiences also. There are many natural objects that you will find in Indonesia. There are many things that before going to Indonesia, I was only able to see in the textbooks, in the books as pictures, in the movies. But once I went to Indonesia, I was able to see many things that I only used to see in pictures here while I was in Fiji, such as the caldera or crater, Bromo, and this one, Blue Fire Mountain. And there are many others. This one here, I was not able to visit, but I hope this Krakatoa. Krakatoa is one of the world's most famous volcanic eruptions in 1863, I think, So there are, Indonesia is full of beautiful, very beautiful natural objects that can be used to attract the tourists if it is managed properly. Yeah? And there are plenty more. I'm just mentioning a few. So yeah, I think the government as well as the local community should try their best to help preserve those resources, to make sure that those objects, places are utilized in the most sustainable way.
Yes, Prof. Sorry,
Yes.
I am from Universitas Negeri Jakarta and currently studying history. But I don't know more about tourism than I don't think I can contribute to sustainable tourism development and minimum. But I learned in Edu in this summer course to now and to contribute. Yes, thanks for your best answer. Terima kasih.
Sama-sama Mas, terima kasih kembali. Ya, tidak apa-apa. Itu tidak masalah.
Hi, Prof. Ravin.
Ya, halo.
Hello.
Halo.
Yes, I'm Sharina from University Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah, I just would like to share some insight from Malaysia, what we are doing with our youth.
Yeah.
Basically, I think in Malaysian perspective, we are quite how should I say, quite involved with youth quite extensively. We involve with our youth quite extensively, especially in tourism development.
Yeah.
As you can see in Malaysia, the development of tourism destination attractions is quite distributed. It's not only focused, for example, in Kuala Lumpur or in big cities. Actually, I'm trying to address what Mbak Prawinda just said just now. You're saying that most of the youth in Indonesia, after graduating or after completing their studies, they most of them often go to Jakarta, you know. So, but in Malaysia, I think our youth is quite aware of the importance of tourism development. Therefore, you can see many youth activists actively participating in developing their local area to become the one of the tourism destination, or even create tourism product. You see, so it's not only focusing on big cities. So I think it's quite a positive phenomenon that we can see. Yeah. So therefore, even recently, due to the pandemic, they try to sell their places, their venues through the social media. So it's just like suddenly we can see, oh, there's so many beautiful places here and there, you know, that we do not aware of before the pandemic. So then only we realize, oh, okay, now we actually have all these activists among the youth who are actually very active in developing the tourism destination in Malaysia. So yeah, so it's quite way forward, I would say. Yeah, it's quite
okay, good. So you were saying that the youths in Malaysia are quite active in trying to promote sustainable tourism practice in sustainable tourism, and they are also very active in trying to
involve the youth. Yes.
Yeah, involve the youth in sustainable tourism.
Yes. In fact, the government is been supporting youth, particularly youth, to get involved in tourism business, you know, by providing grants and free trainings to support them. So yeah.
So the government is also backing them up. That is very good, because the youth also need some support. Like in many countries, the youths want to do many things, but they are unable to do so because they are not provided with the necessary support. So that's a very good initiative by the Malaysian government, that they are trying to back the youths in trying to do what they like doing the most, which is to promote sustainable tourism.
It's just, yeah, it's either they just they want to grab it or not. You know, it's a matter of you want to grab or not. The things are there, but yeah, it depends on the individuals whether they want to take the opportunity or not.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sharina Osman. We will have a session with Dr. Sharina Osman tomorrow, right? For the third day.
Yes, tomorrow.
There is somebody else who raised their hand.
Yes, we have Nardiansyah Kamumu. Nardiansyah, hello, are you there?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Nardiansyah Kamumu from Mamanuda Tourism Institute. I'm very I just want to give a share.
From Malaysia or Indonesia?
Indonesia, sir.
Okay.
Indonesia,
yes.
Manado,
From North Sulawesi Province, Indonesia.
Okay, good.
Yes. So, Dr. Rohit, your presentation is very great, and I just get some information. Yeah, sama-sama. And then I just want to share about the eco resort or environment friendly or eco-based tourism, because here actually before the pandemic, I'm also working at the resort in Lambe Islands. For your information, Lambe Islands is famous because there is muck diving, special muck diving. So many unique critters underwater. So many guests came to the Lambe Island actually, but because of pandemic, until now, not really for the international guests not coming yet. So in your presentation also wrote about the environmental friendly in Lambe Island, especially in Lambe Resort where I worked before. We also have like a marine biologist to educate some divers before they are going to do dive. Marine biologists educate them. For example, please do not to touch the critters underwater. And also, we already set up a trash bank in the village around the resort, and also set up the education center to educate the village. To educate the local people around the resort how to recycle plastic, because this is very important, and the plastic is an issue. It's a global issue. So it's very important to educate the youth or the millennials how to recycle the plastic trash. Yes, I think this is enough for me, and thank you for your presentation, Dr. Rohit.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so you are talking about the resort trying to reduce the use of plastic and recycle. Yeah, there are some very good initiatives that I have seen happening in Indonesia. Like one very good one that I mostly talk about to my students in class is the use of plastic bottles as bus fare in Surabaya. There is a red bus in Surabaya which does not accept money as a form as fare. They accept plastic bottles. So once you want to get onto that bus, you collect and provide them with the plastic bottles, and you can ride that bus for free. So there is something very good. The other thing that I always talk about in my class here is the use of cassava or some other fruit to make plastic bags, which can later be turned into juice and can be drank. So that is also going to avoid or prevent, minimize plastic pollution from plastic. How much you know about this initiative, which is which started in Bali, whereby some organization, NGO, or some individual came up with plastic, which was
some
made.
NGOs, I think, yes.
Yeah, NGOs came up with the production of plastic from cassava or some other root crop, which after using, you can mix it with the glass of water and drink it. So that will help to solve the plastic pollution problem. That's very good. Something that we all need to follow from Indonesia. Something very good, something very creative. And there is another Elia Kurniawati. She has been raising her hand for quite long.
Halo, Dr. Rohit.
Halo, selamat siang. Selamat sore.
Selamat siang. Oh, siang
Apa
menjelang
kabar?
sore in Indonesia. Baik, apa
Indonesia,
kabar?
baik-baik
Yeah.
saja.
Maybe I want to share about maybe the movement, youth movement in Indonesia right now, about youth empowerment that related with my study.
What is your study about?
I have some. I mean my research right now. I also have a research that talk about the youth movement to support the tourism sustainability in Indonesia, especially in the coastal area like Bangsering and CMC Tiga Warna in South Malang.
Bangsering is in
Banyuwangi?
Situ
Bondo. Yeah, you're right. And I will maybe I'll show the video in the virtual tour in the 5th day later. And what I want to tell is about how every youth in every area in Indonesia is now maybe they feel so feeling common and maybe they want to have some part to act to solve the problem about the maybe about the tourism. And they have maybe in Bangsering, a lot of people there work as a catfish, they rob about the fish and coral and sell for export commodity. And there a big damage in the Bangsering area. And the youth learn about the environment sustainability, and they awake and make some movement to care about the coral, and the fish is calm again, and the coral maybe now growth in the big mass in there. So if you go in the Bangsering right now, you can see the catfish or maybe the Nemo only in the surface of the water without diving, without anything. So maybe youth also contribute about the digitalization of tourism right now. So when in the past, maybe people just know about the destination only by maybe mode or maybe the story of someone whoever visit there. But right now, about the power of youth can also lead and make a boom the tourism destination in Indonesia. Maybe it's enough for me to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mbak Elia.
Sama-sama, Winda.
We have another participant raising her hand. Hello, Christine Jane Pardilo. Are you available to talk?
I would like to answer about the activity illustrated in the screen. So, hi everyone. So,
hello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Professor Ravinish and Miss Prawinda. So, I would like to share
Prawinda,
about.
where are you speaking from? Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines?
Okay. I am Christine from the Philippines, specifically in Davao City from the University of Immaculate Conception. So in the Philippines, we have the promotional slogan, which is "It's more fun in the Philippines," that is given a deeper and refreshed sense through the Duterte administration's push for sustainable tourism to attract more tourists while protecting the country's natural wonders. So our country is overflows with exquisite natural wonders, and we have islands abundant in plant and animals, diversity, countless beaches with a fine sand and majestic mountains that grace the majority of our provinces. But unfortunately, most of our paradisical islands are also the most calamity-prone areas in the Philippines. So that is why we really have to do something that would lessen the impact of disasters or the natural disasters. So we have the ecotourism sites, namely the Boracay Island, the Basungir Geo-Reserve, the Puerto Princesa Subterranean River National Park, the Malapascua Island, the Cuatro Islas, the Biri La Rosa, the Mount Apo Natural Park. We also have the Mount Hamigitan Range Wildlife Sanctuary, the Siargao Island, the New Israel Eco Park. And with that, I would like to provide one example about how our country implement sustainable tourism. Boracay Island has been closed for about 6 months, but didn't negatively affect the overall tourism industry of the Philippines. In fact, the Department of Tourism even reported an increase of 7.68% in tourism arrival in year 2018 compared to the previous year. So as it turned out that our tourists were able to, the tourists were able to turn their attention towards the other travel gems in the Philippines, such as in Cebu, Siargao, while the resort island was temporarily closed. So it gives them an avenue to explore to the other ecotourism sites. So the Department of Tourism provided a series of training sessions and seminars for porters, receptionists, hotel and resort front office staff, likewise frontliners such as the boatmen, the ports checkers, the ticket collectors, the land transport drivers, the tour guides, the travel tour operators are also undergoing training to become the ambassador of Boracay Island, as well as in collaboration with the government, the Department of Tourism, NGU, and LGU. So they can effectively and efficiently implement such actions that would really bring back how Boracay's the natural image or the natural picture of what Boracay should be. And that is why Boracay Island undergo the rehabilitation. It was just the beginning of all the actions that the Duterte administrations further show. So its commitment to sustainable tourism by pushing for the cleanup of the country's top beach destination, including in Panglao in Bohol and El Nido and Palawan. So last year's the Philippines had set a record-breaking about 7.1 million international tourist arrivals and the highest even number in the country's tourism industry, that's surpassing the 6,620,908 arrivals in 2017. So that is why our Department of Tourism are encouraging everyone to practice sustainable tourism. There are a lot of programs and organizations that work functionally focuses on the sustainable tourism, but in our country, the youths in our local join a lot of organizations that advocate sustainable tourism, and they practice it within themselves, and even me. So
that's very good. Keep it up.
Yeah. So an example of that is when visiting an ecotourist site, we avoid throwing of trashes everywhere. We avoid ruining the natural formation of the environment, even picking flowers or touching stalagmites, stalactites. So we also prohibited to broach food or other items that is non-biodegradable. So we also embrace the banning of single-use plastic in Siargao, and now some beaches are also implementing it. So aside from it, our generation has been accompanied with technology. So we try to advertise it online and showcase the importance of taking good care of the ecotourism site. So with that, it could effectively spread awareness to people, not just young ones, but as well as those people who are ignorant about what and how sustainability works. So I guess the challenges engaging in the youth in sustainable tourism is that we have a limited authority to do so, to not fully pursue it due to the different perspectives of the people, and as what I have mentioned a moment ago, the ignorance, because different perspectives also leads to different interpretation of the informations that has been said to them, and that's it, I guess.
Very well explanation, Miss Christine Jane Pardillo. Thank you so much. And Mr. Nardiansha would like to visit Philippines, to visit Davao and Boracay. Yeah, me too. I visited Philippines in 2017 and would love to go back there. Okay, I think Mr. Christine was the last. If no more question, if you have any further question, do not hesitate to contact Dr. Avinash Rohit Prasad through his email. It is written on the handbook of the summer course. Okay, to Dr. Rohit, before wrapping up this session, do you have a final statement for the participants?
Yes, I just want to conclude by saying that, yeah, youths indeed play a very important role, not only in sustainable tourism development, but in sustainable development as a whole. Youths have the power and the energy, the time, the knowledge, because they are much more aware nowadays due to the influence of social media. During our times, we did not know what Instagram and TikTok, and we hardly possessed a smartphone. But now, this generation, the millennials, carry smartphones whereby they can access a lot of information from different social media sites like Instagram, even WhatsApp, or even Facebook. If they want to, these social media sites can be used in a positive way if you want to use it in a positive way, because they also share a lot of useful information which you can reshare to create awareness amongst the society or the community that we live in. So I hope that you will do your part and help in the achievement of the 17 sustainable development goals, and also help to achieve sustainable tourism development. And before I end, I just want to thank the organizing committee from the two universities, Universitas Negeri Malang, State University of Malang, and University of Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, thank you very much. If you are listening, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this short summer course. And I hope that I would be able to visit UM and Malang soon once the border opens. I'm just eagerly waiting for the borders to open so that I can visit UM, because it's been 3 years now. I really want to meet my lecturers and my friends who are there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rohit. What an excellent course. So participants from this course, we can understand that youths can persuade people to conserve natural characteristics for tourist attractions, and youth are also consistently passionate about creating cultural tourism artifacts to secure the sustainability of tourist activities. Hopefully someday we could visit Fiji. I believe Fiji must be very fantastic. It has a Tivua Island, Mamanuca Island, Sawa Island. It's like a paradise of tropical island. Okay, once
Fiji,
again,
the way the world should be.
Yeah. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Avinash Prasad. Hopefully we can see each other in another occasion. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama, terima kasih banyak. Okay, dear participants, before wrapping up this session, some information regarding tomorrow events. I will tell something to the participants. For tomorrow, do not forget to join the Zoom meeting 30 minutes before the event start, and do not forget to fill attendance link for this session. The committee already sent the attendance link in the chat box, and I hope you could have a good rest. Stay healthy, and I'm Prawinda Putri Anzari signing out. Goodbye.
Goodbye.